Hello and welcome to Dad Got This. We're into the tough questions like, are there any inexpensive cuts of beef out there that are still delicious? And why did the cow join the gym? That second one's easy. Wanted to work on its calves. With beef getting as expensive as it is, it's been hard to find some great steaks that don't break the bank. But I have a couple on my list that are really good options. I've already done one called the bavette steak. I'll throw a link to that video in the description. And here's another one that is a great kind of hidden cut that is just phenomenal and not too expensive. I am talking about the Flatiron Steak. The Flatiron is a relatively new cut of steak, developed in 1998. When you think about how long we've been eating steak and then they still find new cuts all the way in the late 90s, it's kind of crazy. Now, this was developed by some people who found a way to cut this off of the chuck. It comes out over off the chuck in the top blade area. Because this area is not very worked and the muscle doesn't work very much, you get a really tender cut of steak. In fact, they say that this is the second most tender cut of steak to the fillet on the entire cow. One thing that's nice about it is, despite being nice and tender, it is well marbled. So you get a lot of bold, beefy flavor with it compared to something like the tenderloin. If all you want to know is how to cook this, I will throw timestamps down in the video so you can just go ahead and skip ahead. If you want a little bit of information, go ahead and stick around. This is the Flatiron. I got this from my local Wild Fork Foods. Now, you might have a little bit harder time tracking one of these down. I don't think they're gonna be at like your local grocery store. You're gonna have to go to a meat market, a real butcher, or a store like Wild Fork Foods, which has all the cuts. This is a 1.4 pound Flatiron steak. When you look at it, you can see it's got really nice marbling. This is a choice piece of steak. This is an Angus choice Flatiron, but look at all that marbling. I got this one for $10.98 a pound. Now that's a pretty great deal when you consider that filet is $35 a pound, ribeye is $20 a pound, New York strip is still $14 a pound. Some Flatirons will have a piece of sinew that runs through them that you gotta remove, but this one has already been trimmed. So not much left to do to prep it. If you're tackling a new cut of steak that you've never cooked before, there are some things you kind of want to look out for when you're determining your game plan. First is, how thick is it? This is not a super thick bad boy of a steak. It's kind of more of a thin, flappy steak. So you're not going to want to do something like the reverse sear on it where you slowly bring it to temp and then do the sear at the end. It's not really going to work out well for that. You're going to probably end up overcooking it. For a steak like this, you want to go high sear, hot and fast, and that's pretty much it. Get it to your temp and then let it rest. First thing I want to do is kind of dry brine this a little bit. So we are going to hit it with some salt. This is just some good old-fashioned Diamond Crystal kosher salt. Good amount. Now we're going to hit it with some good old-fashioned crushed black pepper. Some people say you should never put pepper on when you sear, that it's going to burn and give you a bad flavor. I've never had that problem, so I still put a little bit of pepper on my steak. And the last thing I'm going to do is hit it up with some dad dust. This is granulated garlic, granulated onion, and a splash of MSG. I just love the flavor that this adds to everything. And there you go. You're going to want to let this sit for about 20, 25 minutes. Let that salt kind of penetrate a little bit, and also let this come up to closer to room temperature. Now, because I have a wood fire that goes to the cold smoke setting, I'm going to do that rest in the wood fire on cold smoke. Let's grab our stuff. This is a way we can add a little bit of smoky flavor to the steak because it's not going to really be on there long enough while you're cooking it to get much smoke flavor. Take your hopper and fill it to the top. Use whatever pellet you like. I'm using smoking pecan pellets. And give it the dad shake. The dad shake either compacts the pellets and makes it burn better, separates the pellets and gives it lots of air and makes it burn better, or does absolutely nothing and just makes me feel like it burns better. I still do it every time. Let's head over to the wood fire. Load your hopper. I'm gonna use this bad boy right here. Turn it on. We're gonna go smoker, wood fire, temp, all the way down to cold. Time, 30 minutes. If you don't happen to have a Ninja wood fire, two other great ways to cook this would be in a cast iron pan or on a grill. Just anything where you can get a nice crust on it and a nice sear. That's all you need. One thing to consider about the Ninja Woodfire when you're doing something like this is what kind of pellets you're using, and do they really produce like a dirty smoke and a bad flavor. With the smoke and pecan pellets, I've never really had that dirty smoke flavor, even if I put the food in during ignition when the big white plume of smoke comes up. It doesn't give me an off bad flavor. It just gives me a nice smoky flavor. So with them, I can go ahead and put this in at any point in time. I don't need to wait until the smoke dissipates and goes a little bit clearer to go ahead and put this in. Now, if you're using a different pellet, be careful. You can get a dirty or an acrid taste from that initial plume of white smoke. So unless you are using the smoke and pecan pellets, I would suggest wait until the initial plume of smoke dies down and it says to go ahead and add your food. While we are waiting on that, let's talk about temperature and doneness levels for this steak. This steak is best cooked to a medium rare. Now, you could push it to a medium and it would still be pretty good because of all of that intramuscular fat. But if you go past medium to like a medium well, or please don't do well done, it's gonna become tough. It tightens up and it becomes not great. According to CertifiedAngusBeef.com, this is the range of doneness levels for a steak. We are going for medium rare, which is 135. Now, we're not gonna pull this at 135. We're gonna pull it probably at like 129 or 130 to give ourselves that 5 or 6 degrees Fahrenheit of carryover cook. Anytime you're cooking something hot and fast, it's going to continue to cook after you take it off the cooking surface. So you want to account for that and give it a bit of wiggle room so you don't overshoot your target doneness temperature. Let's see where this steak is actually right now. In this thickest part here, it is 33 degrees Fahrenheit. In the thinner parts, it's about 56. So it honestly doesn't have a lot of room to go before it gets up to like 120. So you want to treat it really careful. If you notice, this thing's pretty thin, so we can't get a digital probe in there really. Not an effective one. So you're gonna want to get yourself a good instant read thermometer. I suggest this one from ThermoWorks. It's the ThermaPen 1. Love it. It has been absolutely great to me my entire life. I've had it for years. I'll throw a link down in the description to it, but it's just a great thermometer. While this guy's in its cold smoke, I'm gonna take this little jar. I'm gonna take 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter and 4 nice big cloves of garlic, which I'm just going to crush. I'm gonna stick this in there while it cold smokes. Maybe we'll get a little bit of smoky flavor in the butter and the garlic. I love butter and garlic. Why not? Just noticed, smoker's ready. And because I've never done this with this cut of steak, I'm gonna be careful. Every 10 minutes, I'm gonna check that temp because I don't want to get in way too close. I do want to leave enough time to get my good sear. First check, 55, not bad. Still got time. 20 minutes under the smoke, 66. After 20 minutes under smoke, we are at 66 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty good. I'm gonna let it go 5 more minutes, then we're gonna pull it, and then we're gonna move on to our searing stage. That last 5 minutes up, let's go grab a steak. We're gonna now flip this to grill high and let it preheat. We're at about 67 degrees. I'm not gonna do it. My kid would kill me. 67 degrees on the thick part and about 72, 74 on the thin parts. Perfect temp, should be great. We'll let it sit here like this while that comes up to temp. For the next step, I'm going to use my secret weapon when it comes to steaks. This sprayable Wagyu beef tallow. This stuff is awesome. If you don't have your own beef tallow lying around, you can buy yourself a little can of this. It works great to lubricate your grill grates and to spray it on beef. Heck, you could spray it on just about anything that you need to use instead of regular oil. It's just a great item. 6, 7. She's gonna kill me. One thing that kind of annoys me about the Woodfire is how long it takes to preheat to grill high. God, it takes forever. I wish it was faster, but what are you gonna do? After what seemed like forever, it is finally preheated. Let's go ahead and sear this steak. Steak weight. About 85. Just make sure you are flipping the steak every like 45 seconds, less than a minute, and moving it around on the grill. Go to different parts because it's gonna be hotter in those other parts. About 2-3 minutes in, throw the butter and the garlic down. 110-ish, we are getting close. We're gonna go into this butter. Butter should brown it.
Keep that process up, making sure you are tracking your temps as you go. It took about 6 minutes total for my entire cook.
That's it, I got 129 there. Let me check the thickest part. We'll call it. You didn't think we were gonna waste all that, did you? And now comes literally the hardest part for me, letting this rest. We're gonna let this rest for about 5 to 10 minutes. 8 minutes. I think 8 minutes is enough. Let's go ahead and cut this guy right down the center. See what we ended up with. Okay, that's gonna blush more as time goes. I might have hit medium. No, I hit medium rare. It's definitely blushing. Yeah, look at that. Absolutely nailed medium rare on that. Okay, looking at this, I can see a little bit of a grain going in that direction. Try to slice off against that grain and see if I'm right. Oh, that was a good steak. Now see if I'm right. I think I am. Cut it that way, which is with the grain. Oh, still tender. Either way, oh my gosh. I'm just gonna sit here and eat a steak. This is fantastic. With that garlicky butter. Oh, it is buttery tender, bold and beefy. Just an amazing steak. Looks like we have some different directions. So we're running in this direction here, and then it kind of switches a little bit on that side. This guy, we've got grain going this way. This guy goes all over the place. I think just cut it and enjoy it. Okay, I'm gonna go slice this up for photos. A bit of my garlic there. And then we'll pop you like that. 10 out of 10. This is an amazing steak. I might even pull it a little sooner next time, get it a little bit more rare. But I'm hungry, so pardon me while I eat some steak. So that is the Flatiron Steak, a banger of a steak and a great value at $11 a pound. Now, I've got some other great steaks at great values coming up in this series, so make sure you are subscribed. Speaking of that, please do the likey subscribe thing. YouTube loves it when you leave a like. I love it when you leave a comment. I answer just about every comment in my comment section. Really want to support the channel, consider becoming a member. Get all kinds of benefits, but if you can't, please, subscribing would be enough. And if you have some suggestions for some other unusual cuts of steak that you'd like me to showcase, please leave them in the comments. If you happen to have a Woodfire and you're looking for a bunch of great recipes, I have a cookbook. The link is in the description. So, with all that out of the way, I guess there is only one question left to answer. Why doesn't the cow like to go to Vegas? Because the stakes are too high. Yeah, pretty bad. Dad may tell horrible dad jokes, cook some fantastic steaks that are a great value. But one thing Dad will never do is an outro. So that's it. Bye.
This is the part where I thank all of my members. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you so much for your support, and rock on. I don't know why I said rock on, but rock on.